I can't say anything on TikTok without being diagnosed with balding. Not wrong, not misinformed, just balding. I'm new to this content creation thing, which means that against my better judgment, I have joined that strange digital bazaar where everyone has an opinion and no one has a consistent haircut. You say something about Taylor Swift, something measured, even mild, and within seconds you are told with astonishing certainty that you are balding. Not wrong, not misguided, not misogynist. Balding. The one word, as if it were a mic drop of such atomic force that the argument itself simply ceases to exist, vaporized by the gleam of my exposed scalp. At first I was bemused. Balding? I thought. Am I? I hadn't really noticed, or I had noticed, but only in the way one notices that autumn is coming. The leaves thin, the light softens, the trees begin to show their structure. A natural thing, a dignified process, but apparently not. Apparently, balding is a condition, a deficiency, a crisis of masculinity, so grave that strangers on the internet feel morally licensed to point it out. It was only then, in the pixelated court of TikTok, that I learned the modern theology of hair. The catechism goes something like this: to have hair is to be vital, to have potential. To lose hair is to lose narrative power, the follicular equivalent of being written out of the script. Now, this isn't new, of course. Consider Samson. His entire strength, his divine calling, was rooted in his hair. Delilah didn't seduce him with her beauty alone, but with the shears. Once the hair was gone, so was the man. The ancient Hebrews, it turns out, were early adopters of influencer logic. Your brand is your hairline. John Adams offers a more enlightened example. The man practically debated the United States into existence. His sentences, even on paper, have a granite conviction. And what did his enemies call him? Fat. Not wrong, not tyrannical, not dangerously intelligent, but fat. It's the same impulse. When words fail, people attack the body. It's the oldest trick in the rhetorical book, or perhaps the first human instinct after language itself. You hurt my idea, so I will come for your appearance. Now, when I scroll through the comments and see balding trotted out like a spell, I can't help but wonder what it's trying to accomplish. Am I meant to crumble, to apologize for my follicles, to seek immediate refuge in a laser clinic, or perhaps the point isn't to wound me at all, but to reassert the commenter's own control? Insulting someone's appearance is a way of pulling the emergency brake on thought. Stop making me think. You're ugly. Still, the word lingered. Balding. It began to sound almost elegant, like something you might order at a Parisian cafe. A garçon, a balding, please, lightly toasted. It has movement, like a verb. Balding, ongoing, alive. It describes not a state, but a transformation. The scalp is not dying, it's emerging. And so, like any vain creature caught in an existential moment, I went to the mirror. Yes, there it was, a faint peninsula forming at the crown, not yet an island, but the tide was thinking about it. I found myself grinning. There was something comic about it. As though nature had decided to doodle on me. I thought of all the men before me who must have stood in similar light. Roman senators, Renaissance thinkers, 20th century strongmen. It's a heritage of baldness, really. A kind of brotherhood of receding ambition. The truth is, I rather like the idea of balding. It's a reminder that I'm a carbon-based organism with an expiry date. In an age of filters and fillers, hair loss feels almost radical in its honesty. My head, unmasked. There's a freedom to that. If the worst insult someone can muster is, "You're balding," I'd say I'm doing fine. It means my ideas must be working. The irony, of course, is that those who call me balding are almost certainly balding themselves, in spirit if not in scalp. There's a thinning of empathy, a receding of attention. Their own intellectual follicles are loosening. They've mistaken mockery for participation, commentary for discourse. They're in the early stages of a moral thinning. And so, to them, I say this: you're right, I am balding. The topography of my skull is adjusting to reality. Each hair that leaves is making room for light, and perhaps, if I'm lucky, for wisdom. My only regret is that it took a few strangers on the internet to make me notice something so natural, so strangely hopeful. Maybe that's the secret of aging gracefully, realizing that the insults of others are just the price of being visible. You show up, you speak, you shed, and if the price of saying something true about Taylor Swift is a few jokes about my hairline, well, I'll take that. Bargain any day. Because at least, unlike Samson, I didn't lose my strength. I just lost my fringe.